So this next video we're going to play is the Secretary General of Lower Congress. Is another group of indigenous peoples in Southeast, Mr. Tony Nnadi. He's also the co-convener of NINAS, which is Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination. This presentation took place on January 17th, 2019 at where you call the National Press Building in downtown Washington, D.C., at a special press conference convened by the Mission Africa International regarding the incessant murders and mass killings of Christian indigenous populations of Nigeria, especially in Middle Belt region of the country by Islamist Fulani terrorist militia. So pay attention so that you understand where these issues are being discussed. We are not doing it local. We are not doing it, oh my God, what do we do? What we do? No, there's template on the table and we have gone anywhere that we need to go and we are following the process. Thank you.
Thanks to, come to share some light is the source of that problem. The source of that problem. I talked about diagnosis that will lead to prescription, that could then lead to treatment that will work. If you fail with the diagnosis, your prescription is going to be wrong and the patient will die. The patient here is the sick Nigeria. And our concern is less for Nigeria than for Nigerians. It's a world of difference. If you mix up the two, you're going to end up killing the people you thought you were going to save. Having listened to some of the things that have been said, even on this segment, what we have in our hand is a Nigeria that has become a rogue state. Mm. And the global Islamic movement has targeted it to make it their operational base for what they are doing globally, having been challenged in the Middle East. And it's not something that began last night. It's something that has come a long way. And they've, at this time, succeeded in establishing a passage from where they have to relocate to where they target. And on the last page of the paper you have, you will see the map of Nigeria. The size of the problem is this, that to all the sides, this Atlantic Ocean, to the bottom here, on all these sides are ungoverned spaces. Chad, Niger Republic, Northern Mali, and most of what we call Northern Cameroon are just a satellite playground for what the one you call Nigeria. But that Nigeria collapsed in 1966 when the constitutions that brought them together, were overturned. And a rogue federal government emerged, operated by a caliphate. And when you hear caliphate, the Islam they put on it is to confuse those who do not know what it is all of. It's a political movement that grabs sovereign spaces and actually target the whole global, how much of it they can get. And they always require some launching, some operational basis in which they won't be challenged. And what's going on there is that they are found having hijacked that federation, the sovereign space, housing that federation that collapsed in 1966, becoming a federal government. I'm sure you hear about federal government of Nigeria all the time. Becoming a federal government in a situation where the federation had collapsed, but operating a unitary system in which they're in charge of everybody's bedroom. They've seized all the assets of the owners of the place. And the only thing remaining now, and that's where the urgency of it comes in, the only thing remaining now is that they are eliminating what could become future claims of the indigenous peoples of the area by cleansing them off. They've already finished the task in these upper parts that they've imposed Sharia. We have 12 states that simultaneously impose Sharia in a supposedly secular federation. Having done that, they also found their way to Government House. The Boko Haram you hear was just their mechanism to bulldoze their way to Government House. The day after the election, they went into the mission for which they got to that Government House, and that mission was to overrun the rest of this territory. And where they are now, if you look closely to the map, you will see the middle belt. You hear about Benue, Plateau, and all of that. They just moving upon the communities, removing them, and bringing their kinsmen, because the Fulani incidentally do not have they are an itinerant population, they're nomads, all the way from Gambia.
Yep, they are nomads. You're not apologizing for saying it. They are nomads.
And they are bringing, as they sack one community, they bring, they already allotted the whole place up to Port Harcourt to, Fulani of one country or the other. The people they call herdsmen are the advanced team, the ones who have come, like, about the promised land. When they got there were giants occupying the place, and they had to be removed for those who came to take their inheritance. That's what they're doing now. The owners of the various places are being removed for those who say it is their inheritance. They actually tell us to our faces that the place was given to them by Allah, and they will do everything to take every part of it. They've succeeded in taking the assets of all the sites. You hear about Niger Delta and the agitation for their oil and gas. All those things have been sequestered long time ago from the point of that collapse of the constitutional arrangement. And I call it rogue federal government because if you have a federation, imagine the United States, in which the constitution that secures everybody is overthrown by maybe not even any big state. California is big enough. Imagine if it were Long Island or some Maine in the northeast here that overthrows the constitution of the United States and becomes the owner of the whole of California, the oil assets of Texas, and all of that, and manages to impose a constitution in which you can no longer generate electricity for yourself, you can no longer police yourself, you can no longer elect who will govern you, because they have to do everything from the center. And in that kind of a situation, having secured that ownership permanently by brigandage, they now want to remove future claims by removing the human beings. It's ethnic cleansing that is called, and I'm sure we had a Danjuma chat. So if we do not realize that that's what's going on, we probably will be saying, let's go save Nigeria. It's not Nigeria that's into Nigeria died a long time ago. It's the Nigerians trapped in that space that are in trouble. And what can be done for them now is to recognize the reality of the situation and the implication for the global community. Because if they go beyond where they are now, they say they're going to election. You know what that election for? They want to get another 4 years to sweep through what is left into the Atlantic water frontier. And what has happened on ground there is that somehow we've managed, in the organization I'm secretary to, we've managed to wake up the owners of the rest of the place to say, if we do nothing, these guys have been decimating piecemeal. It will come to you at some point. And when it comes, nobody's going to come to your aid. In a situation where if anybody's in doubt as to who is the source of the terror, the governor in Kaduna State, you remember the one on the Christmas Eve, they imposed curfew. People were not to move around. And everybody thought, well, at least for the period of the curfew, we could relax in our village. These people came from nowhere and sacked, they killed over 890-something people on the eve of Christmas, people who were getting ready to just celebrate the next day. And the governor, his response to all of that was to say, that they went, that the ones killing were Fulani from outside area.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing this video. We'll post this video in its entirety. You can see there's a game going on, there is a conquest agenda going on, and someone is helping them to achieve their goals. And our people are sitting there thinking it's something that we have to pray to God about. No, it's something that we have to strategically displace the Fulani's agenda. Strategically displaced the Fulani agenda because they are not there to be your friends. They told you that Allah has given them that land, and they will do whatever it takes to get people, the indigenous peoples, out of the land. Whether you end up in IDP camp, it doesn't concern them. Whether you die in the midst of it, doesn't concern them. If they really care about the people, why are we not returning our people to their indigenous lands? What the hell is IDP camp? People have land. There are lots of resources in their land. You want to confine them to an IDP camp so that you can come there and play the Lord and Savior by bringing them peanuts. It goes back to our topic today, empowering the indigenous peoples of the northern Nigeria.
Please, before you get to the introduction. Yes. So, what's the video just that you watched? We took to all the powers that be, because you have to work hand in hand in collaboration to defeat an enemy. This is warfare. The Fulani, they are not playing with the indigenous peoples. They didn't come to eat, drink mia and kuka, or eat, drink fla de nuno. That's not what they came. The strategy, they know what they're doing. It is land grabbing. So they come with their political movements. They come with their advanced team that you call headers, headsmen. They're like foot soldiers. They are not people carrying cow that you think. It is not climate chasing them. It is work that their ancestors sent them that are coming to do. So Nigeria, they have already conquered Nigeria. When 1966, they took away the federal system constitution that gave powers to indigenous peoples in their regions. They took it away and brought what you call unitary constitution, aka 1999 constitution. With that unitary constitution, they played into Aso Rock, took over everything, head of military, head of aviation, head of everywhere. They have taken over the entire Nigeria as we speak. Now they begin
with the help of our people. Now, with the help of our people, making them kingmakers.
They are puppets playing with them. Those that you are doing political parties, APD, APC, PDP, Labour Party, all of them are together. They are in cahoots. They are playing this game together. So when they come, they have taken the land, and then what did they do? They seized the assets in the land, and then they want to begin to kill the owners of the land one by one. That's the massacre you're seeing. So that their children will not come tomorrow and say the land belongs to them. And as they displace them, they rename their communities. So that tomorrow, nobody will say this land is their land. It is a complete work.
And this has been done before. So you guys are not the first people.
Yes.
This strategy of land grabbing has been done before.
This is how the colonial masters did, even in the US, how they displaced the Native Americans, took over. It's not new. The white man has been doing, white man and the Arab, the people who call the descendants of Ishmael and descendants of Esau and descendants of whatever they call their name, they have been doing this, displacing the people, taking their land, destroying them, and renaming their land. So what we are dealing with is big. We want us to understand that we are bigger because the God that sent us and gave us the land, the indigenous land, is bigger, and he has sent us. So I'll allow my sister to go. I will just say it for those that are seeing us for the first time, because they might not understand where we are going with this interview. We have put the background information. We are now going into the proper interview. Thank you so much.